Given that you clicked this video, you and I can both agree that building your first house and becoming a home builder is something that you deeply desire to do, but you are likely intimidated, stuck, and puzzled with not only where to start, but also all of the other steps that it will take for you to make it happen. So in this video, I'm going to give you the exact information and the exact knowledge that you need to learn to be able to build your first house faster, with more confidence, while saving you tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars on your very first home build. I'm also going to give you the #1 resource that could guarantee you build your first house this year. And at the end of the video, if you stick around, I'm going to show you a method that you can utilize to help calculate how much it will cost you to build your first house in your specific location. Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Case Lucas Robinson, and if you're new here, then go hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on my future videos. And also, if you're new here, I'll take about the next 60 seconds or so to give a quick background as to who I am. That way you know who you're listening to. That way you will believe it is worth your time to watch this video from beginning to end and learn from the information inside of it if you're truly serious about building your first house. So first and foremost, I'm a son of God, and faith is extremely important in my life. I'm a husband to my beautiful wife. I'm a father of 2, so currently I have a family of 4, and hopefully still a growing family. And on the business side of things, I'm a real estate developer. I'm a real estate investor who owns single-family rental properties. And what I'm most proud of is I'm just a true savage entrepreneur who has taken risk after risk, believing in myself, going through ups and downs to get to where I'm at today, where now I'm on a steep trajectory, inclined toward achieving my lifelong goal of financial freedom and generational wealth, probably the same goal as you if you're watching this video, or at least most of you. And I know those terms get quite overused in today's world, but to me that just means being able to do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want, without having any kind of financial holdback or financial burden keeping you from doing so. And I think I'll be able to achieve those goals hopefully within the next 7 to 10 years whenever I'm about 35 years old, and then be able to enjoy life thereafter. So that's who I am, and I'm creating this video because I got into the home building world a couple years ago, and I didn't have any experience, and I didn't have access to a mentor. I didn't have a mentor, and the only way I built my first house was through online research, and there was not very much out there to help me along the process. So I made quite a bit of costly mistakes along the way on my first home build. So I'm creating this video to help those out there who are looking to build their first house, and I'm going to make it extremely value packed, and I'm also going to give you access to me, who is experienced in the home building space, to streamline and expedite your process on building your first house. And this video is going to have a little bit different of a layout. If you're not new here, you probably know most of my videos are filmed out in the field where I'm showing the construction process going on. But instead, I'm just going to sit right here in this chair, in this office, and get right to the video. So let's get into it. I'm selecting only 50 applicants to join the Become a Builder 2025 challenge, and I'm going to personally coach these members through the entire process of building their first house from start to finish in under 12 months. Together, we will underwrite your deal to project your profits or the equity you will have when the build is finished. We will review your finances and strategically select what loan option or financing method works best for your project. We will find the perfect piece of land while avoiding those with expensive hidden development costs. We will design your home and obtain your custom set of building blueprints. We will assemble you a trusted, reliable, and affordable team of subcontractors and suppliers. We will budget your build down to the penny, and we will schedule your build from day 1 all the way to the final day. And lastly, we will manage the entire construction process together, ensuring that your home is built exactly to your quality of standards. Every member is going to build their first house with confidence like an experienced general contractor and save tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars along the way, because everyone will get real-time one-on-one consulting with me personally for the next 12 months and much, much more. At the end of this challenge, each member will leave with an invaluable skill of home building and a network that they can leverage to scale their home building or real estate career. If you have been wanting to build your first house, but you didn't know where to start, then this is your opportunity to make it happen. So don't wait, the time is now. So if you want to work directly with me on your first home build, then click the link in the description of this video or the link in the pinned comment down below to learn more and apply today. And if this opportunity has passed by the time you're watching this video, then don't worry, it will constantly be updated to the best way that I can help you on your first home build. So to start, let's cover the claim I made in the beginning of this video, which is you can save tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or possibly even millions of dollars on your very first home build. Of course, It all directly relates to the cost of your project and size of your project. And you can do that because whenever you go to build your first house, you're going to have two options. Either you can hire a separate general contractor to build the house for you, or you can become your own general contractor and build the house yourself. Of course, both have their pros and cons. Hiring a separate general contractor, sure, it will be easier because it will not require as much of your time, and also it will be a little less stressful because they have experience, but that comes with a hefty cost of around 30% of the total project cost. But whenever you go to build your own house as your own general contractor, maybe the con is it's more stressful and it takes more of your time, but the pros are you're going to save 30%. That equates to, if you're going to build $1 million house, it may cost you $1 million to build it, but you're going to pay that builder, that general contractor, that home building company, an additional 30%. Which equates to $1.3 million. That means you're going to pay him an additional $300,000 to build that exact same house. It would only cost you $1 million to build. Therefore, you can save $300,000 in that instance by becoming your own general contractor and building it yourself. You're going to get to control the entire project. You're going to get to control the materials, the subcontractors, all the design details, and also the timeline. And timeline's also important because whenever I just built my custom dream home, about 5,500 frame square feet with a pool in the backyard on one acre piece of land, it would have taken a separate home builder probably 12 to 24 months to build this project, and I was able to build it in just 5 months. And my second home build ever, it was a simple single family rental property build. I was able to build it in 60 days. That's 2 months construction time. And it would have taken another builder probably 5 or 6 months to build that exact same house. So to me, time is money, and I like to control the timeline. But the third pro of building your first house as your own general contractor is you get to experience the whole process. You get to leave the project with a invaluable skill and experience and network that you can leverage again and again to scale as either a home builder or a real estate investor, which to me, how could you turn that down if this is something you are actually serious about doing? Now, in order to do that successfully, in order to build your first house as your own general contractor, I know if you're watching this video, you're probably very intimidated by the process. So in order to do that successfully, I believe one key component is hiring or bringing on a mentor for your first project, whether that be me or any other home building mentor in America. I'm sure there's hundreds out there. I believe it is a key component because they will be able to give you a roadmap that you can follow from start to finish, all the way from day one of the planning to the very final day of construction. They'll be able to give you connections to suppliers and subcontractors if you are in their direct market. They'll be able to give you cost-saving strategy. So yes, you will pay the consultant or mentor or coach to guide you through the process, but you'll likely see a return on the investment because they're going to tell you how to save tens of thousands of dollars on the material and the labor and the design elements of your home build. You're going to learn how to avoid costly mistakes. They're going to give you resources and tools that you can use along the way. On my very first home build, I didn't have any tools or resources to help streamline my build. Now I have 12 downloadable documents that I use on every single build right now and moving forward to streamline my process, and it makes the home build much easier to stay organized. You're going to build with less stress and more confidence. Man, during that first build and even the second build, I probably had gray hair and I was 25 years old. I was very stressed out. Now, as an experienced home builder, it's easy. So having a mentor to lean on and guide you through the process, you're going to build with much more confidence than if you did without. Also, the mentor is going to tell you how to build with quality control to make sure the home is getting built to code, which is important. It's actually required by law in most areas to build a house to that specific location's code, as well as help guide you on how to ensure it is getting built to your quality of standards. And lastly, as I just mentioned, how to build the house faster because time is money. So yes, I do believe for 99% of people, getting a mentor or coach to guide you through your first home build is a non-negotiable, again, for 99% of people, because the cost you're going to pay that mentor to guide you through the process is going to be so small in comparison to the cost you are going to incur by the delays and mistakes you're going to make by trying to do it by yourself. Now let's get into the step-by-step process that you need to take to successfully build your first house. Building a house can be broken down into two main phases: the planning phase and the construction phase. The planning phase includes everything that happens before you break ground. and the construction phase covers everything that happens after you break ground. The first step of the planning phase is meeting with the lender, applying for a loan, and getting pre-approved for the project. This is essential because it kickstarts the loan process and ensures that you will have the financing you need to complete the build. Next, it's time to find the land that you're going to build on. It's critical to avoid what I call hidden development costs that could get very expensive during the construction process, such as excessive excavation, soil treatment, tree clearing, or high cost to bring the utilities to your site, which are all factors that need to be evaluated whenever you're searching for a piece of land. I use my comprehensive lot purchase checklist, which is a 2-page document, which includes every single factor that needs to be evaluated when searching for a piece of land to ensure that it's a good fit for my project. Location and land are one of the most important aspects of a home building project. After you find your land, negotiate with the seller and then put it under contract to purchase. It's important for you to include enough time in the contract for you to complete your due diligence as well as obtain financing if you're going to be getting a construction loan for your project. The first 7 to 10 days of your contract will be spent completing due diligence and feasibility studies to ensure that your home can be built on the site that you have selected without having any problems. You will get the site surveyed, complete title work on the property, perform a soil test to ensure that the ground can support your foundation, consult with your architect to ensure that your home can fit within the building envelope that the site offers, research local permitting timelines and cost to avoid surprises later in the project, and perform many other tasks. After due diligence is complete, you can then move on to obtaining your building plans. Building plans are the actual blueprint set that lays out the full design of your home and your property on both the interior and the exterior, down to every square inch of the entire property. They are the single most important factor to the success of your project, as they ensure accurate material list and also that all the subcontractors are all on the same page when they're performing their work. You will hire an architect, a structural engineer, and possibly even a couple other engineers depending on the needs of your project size and project location. These individuals will work together to develop your building plans. Initially, you will schedule a meeting to cover your vision for your project, such as your house shape, size, and style, and also important features that you want to include, such as ceiling heights, a pool, a fireplace, or any other features you want to include. While your design team develops your building plans, which usually takes probably 3 to 6 weeks depending on your project, you then need to switch your focus to assembling your team of subcontractors and suppliers. As the general contractor, you will manage a very large team of subcontractors and suppliers to provide the materials and the labor that is needed to build your home. You will need to gather 3 to 5 options for each trade needed to build your home, and also 3 to 5 material suppliers for your home build. For instance, you will need to meet with 3 to 5 concrete contractors, 3 to 5 framers, roofers, and window installers, and any other trade needed to build your house. The more options you have, the better chance that you have in success in getting the best value while working with a subcontractor that you trust will complete their job on time, on budget, and both to code and your quality of standards. After your building plans are finalized, you can then draft your full material list. And as you can imagine, drafting a material list for a home build where the material is going to cost several $100,000 or maybe even millions is no easy task. The material list for the framing trade alone can be anywhere from 50 to 100 line items itself. But it is a critical piece of the project to ensure that you order the exact quantities of each type of material for each part of your home build. If you create a list with errors, you are guaranteed for both delays and very costly mistakes like material damage, material restocking fees with the suppliers, or additional material delivery fees if you have shortages on your deliveries. Once you have an accurate material list, you can then send that to all of your material supplier options, and they can all provide you with an estimate for the material supply on your home build. At this point, you can also use your building plans to start communicating with all of your subcontractor options to start collecting bids for all the labor that it will take to build your house. I use my downloadable bid request template on every single bid request that I send out because it's already drafted, quick, and accurate. The subcontractors will use the building plans to determine their scope of work and the cost of labor for their specific trade. It's imperative that you provide an accurate set of building plans up front to avoid miscommunications and expensive change orders throughout the entire build. As you collect bids, make sure to organize them neatly so that you can compare apples to apples and select the subcontractors and the suppliers that you decide to team up with on your project. I organize my bids into my Excel bid organizer, and it makes this process very neat and very easy. After all the bids are received, select your winners and build out your build budget using each selected bid for each corresponding trade. Make sure to include a 10% contingency fund for any unexpected expenses that may arise. Also, use their selected proposals to assemble your build schedule from day 1 all the way to the very final day. The build schedule will dictate when to order materials, when to schedule material delivery, when to schedule subcontractors to start their trade, and also when to schedule inspections with the local building government organizations. At this point, you're ready to close on the land purchase, close on the construction loan, and go get your building permits and approvals. Some areas do not require permits and approvals, and some locations do, so it completely depends on where you're building your first house. Building permits are typically obtained through your local building government organizations, such as the city building department, the county building department, or the local township. You need these permits before you can start construction, or your project will get shut down. These permits ensure that your home gets built to code and correctly and safely. In order to obtain your permits, you must contact your local building organizations and educate yourself on the permitting process that you must undertake to successfully obtain these permits. This is typically a process that takes a couple weeks to even months and can cost anywhere from a couple $100s to tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on the location and size of your project. Building approvals are similar but different to building permits. They're typically obtained through deed restriction enforcing organizations such as HOAs, community architectural control committees, or others. These approvals typically ensure that you build a house that is similar in size and style to those surrounding your location by reviewing your building plans and ensuring that you're building with materials that align with the houses around yours. They typically evaluate the shape of your house, the material choices such as roof material color, siding design, window type, landscape design, fence height, paint colors, and more. These approvals typically cost a couple $100 to a couple $1,000 and can take weeks to months to obtain as well. After you have received your permits and approvals, you are now ready to break ground. This marks the beginning of the construction phase, where your responsibilities as a builder will shift to managing the site, coordinating suppliers, overseeing subcontractors, ensuring quality control in their work, and scheduling building inspections. The process is obviously very complex, and while every build will have unique aspects and processes they have to go through based on their location and their plans, the steps outlined here will provide a foundational guide. So to start, begin by reviewing your building schedule and ordering items with extended lead times, such as windows, specialty doors, garage doors, and appliances. Ensuring that these materials and items arrive on time is critical to prevent delays during the construction process. With your schedule set, it's now time for the site prep. Start by arranging for utility installations, which can take several weeks. You'll need a temporary electric pole to power tools and equipment during the build. If city water and sewer are available for your site, then order the taps to connect to the main lines. Taps are just connections from the city that they will provide for you to connect to your build. For rural properties, you may need to plan for private water wells or a private septic system. If you're including gas appliances in your home, start the natural gas setup early, as the meter is typically installed once the framing is complete. If you do not have city gas supply, then you will need to plan for a private propane gas tank installation. Next, arrange for a portable toilet to be delivered to the site. This essential bathroom facility will save time and ensure that subcontractors remain on site throughout the entire construction day. Next, have a surveyor stake the property. These stakes will mark the precise locations of key elements such as the building perimeter, driveway, pool, and property corners, ensuring accurate construction placement. In the most urban and suburban areas, you'll also need to install a silt fence to prevent soil erosion and protect the local drainage systems during heavy rains. With the site marked and protected, construction can begin with the curb cut or culvert installation, followed by creating your temporary driveway. This driveway, typically made of crushed concrete or aggregate, provides a stable entrance for subcontractors' vehicles and machines, as well as heavy delivery trucks. After the driveway is in place, clear the site of any trees and debris. Remove roots several feet down below the surface to prevent future disturbances to your foundation. Once your site is clear, your subcontractor will excavate the lot to the depth specified by your engineer, replacing any unstable soil with stable material such as a special dirt called select fill. Finish the site prep stage with a final grade. Proper grading at this stage is crucial to ensure that the site drains efficiently throughout the duration of the build, preventing water pooling and delays caused by wet conditions. Now it's time to move on to the foundation. There are many different foundation types such as basements, pier and beam, or slab on grade. Slab on grade is the most popular foundation type here in Houston, Texas. For a conventional slab on grade foundation, begin by installing form boards around the perimeter to define the shape and the height of the slab. Next, install the underground plumbing system, which will capture drainage from all the sinks, toilets, showers, and appliances inside the house. These pipes are sloped outward to connect to the sewer tap or your private septic sewer system. After the plumbing is complete, your foundation contractor will prepare the site by digging the beams, installing a vapor barrier, and laying the rebar according to the building plans. This part of the foundation is referred to as the makeup or the prep work. If your project includes underslab electrical conduits, such as electrical lines that are going to run to a kitchen island, then these will also need to be installed at this stage. Once everything is in place, the concrete is then poured in a monolithic pour, which is where the slab and beams are poured simultaneously. When it is complete, allow adequate curing time for the concrete, which varies based on temperature and climate conditions, typically ranging from 20 to 40 days. With the foundation set, transition to the framing of the house. First, schedule the delivery of the framing materials and ensure that the drop location is both large enough for the very large framing package and also in a convenient location for the crew to work in proximity to the house. Framing begins with the first floor walls, followed by the ceiling joist, stairs, and second floor walls. The process concludes with the roof framing. Throughout this phase, openings for the windows, doors, and skylights are carefully constructed to match those of the building plans. At the end of the framing, install your blocking. This is small pieces of wood strategically placed within the walls to support items like TV mounts, cabinets, and fixtures. I use my blocking checklist to ensure that nothing is overlooked, as this step is critical for the remainder of the build. Once the framing is complete, inspect the structure thoroughly. Check that all the walls are level and square, and confirm that the window openings and door openings match the specifications on the plans to prevent issues with future installations. After your inspections, proceed with the exterior sheathing, flashing, and WRB or water resistant barrier, followed by the installation of the soffits, fascia, siding, windows, and exterior doors. Next, install the roof decking and roofing system. On my dream home build, I installed a combination of both architectural shingles and standing seam metal for a more modern architectural design. Now at this point, your structure will be weather tight and waterproof, offering protection from rain and other elements. If your project includes a pool, now is the perfect time to start construction in the backyard. Lay out and excavate the pool, install the rebar, complete the rough plumbing and electrical work, and shoot the gunite shell. Allow the shell time to cure for several weeks while you continue with the other phases of the build. Inside the house, proceed with the rough ends for the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems, collectively known as the MEP. HVAC systems are installed with ductwork and vents, while plumbing system involves running water lines and vent lines and setting water heaters. Electrical rough ends include wiring for outlets, switches, and lighting, along with pre-wiring for technology systems such as cameras, speakers, and security systems. After the rough ends are complete, you can finish both the exterior and the interior work simultaneously. On the exterior, begin your masonry work, including brick and stucco installation. Both of these take weeks because, as you can imagine, installing thousands of bricks is very time intensive, while stucco typically requires several applications, layers over multiple days and weeks. And on the interior, it's now time to air seal and insulate the structure. But before proceeding, double check that all the blocking is in place, as it will be very difficult to correct this later. Next, hang the drywall, tape and float the seams, sand surfaces smooth, and finish with the texture of your choice. After the drywall is complete, install flooring and protect it with a durable covering to prevent damage during the remaining construction phases. Next, Carpentry work follows, including baseboards, interior doors, door trim, window casings, and shelving for closets and pantries. Cabinets, vanities, and countertops are then installed. With the interior nearing completion, focus on final painting and staining for both the exterior and the interior. Once the paint is finished, move to the MEP and technology trim out phase, and this involves installing the finishing components like the electrical outlets, switches, and light fixtures, faucets, shower trim, and garbage disposals, HVAC grills and thermostats, and technology systems such as cameras, speakers, and monitors. At this stage, the HVAC system is also started to ensure functionality. Back outside, complete the pool by installing the pool tile, the surrounding deck, the pool equipment, and the pool plaster before filling it with water. Next, start and finish the concrete flatwork, which includes the driveways, sidewalks, and any non-structural concrete areas such as walkways. Landscaping comes next, adding irrigation, plant beds, trees, grass, hardscape, and fencing. The final steps include installing appliances like ovens, refrigerators, dishwashers, and washers and dryers. Before declaring the build complete, perform a final walkthrough or punch list. Inspect every detail, including doors, windows, cabinetry, flooring, and paint, and note any corrections that need to be made. Finally, arrange for a professional cleaning of both the interior and the exterior, ensuring that the home is ready to be sold, rented, or moved into. In the beginning of this video, I mentioned I'd give you a simple method that you can use to calculate how much it will cost you to build your first house as your own general contractor in your specific area. So here it is, and it's just a general rule of thumb, but it'll help you get a general understanding of the cost. So what you'll do is go on any real estate listing website online and find a new construction house that is recently built and is now for sale that is similar in size, style, and location to the house that you are considering building. And then you will multiply the listed price or sales price times 70%, and that will give you the cost that it would likely cost you to buy the land and build that exact same house. For instance, if you find a house that is similar in size, style, and location that is new construction listed for sale for $1 million, multiply 1 million times 70%, which will give you $700,000. That is a rough estimate for the cost you would pay to buy the land and build that exact same house or one very similar. Do the math as well. That gives you $300,000 of either equity or $300,000 in profit if you were to build that house to sell. Now, no, this is just a rough estimation, but it's better to have a general understanding like this when you're first getting started, and this will get you to the point in your planning phase to where you have received your building plans, requested and collected all of your bids from your subcontractors and suppliers, and then built out your full build budget, because at that point, you will have a down to the penny budget of how much it will cost you to build your first house. Now, I understand this was a very basic overview of a long, complex project, but if this gets you excited about your first home build, and if you have the financial means to get started, which honestly, it doesn't take that much, then let me tell you, you do not have to be a rocket scientist to build a house. Instead, you just need a roadmap to follow, resources to assist you, and an experienced mentor to guide you through your first project. Since becoming a home builder, I started small and then scaled up to larger projects. And now I'm planning to do either a small apartment building or a multi-million-dollar single-family home build development where I will profit close to 7 figures. So this is a skill that will last you a lifetime and potentially set you financially free if you utilize it correctly. So if you're serious about getting your first build started, click the link down below in the description of this video or in the pinned comment to join my program, where I have helped hundreds of people change their life by building their first home. That link is the key to you building your first home this year. Now, before I check out, hit the subscribe button if you're not yet subscribed, and click here to watch another video. I'll see you next time.